Make your choices a whole lot smarter. We've got you covered on Acco Drive. Now enjoy this video. The Mahindra B6 and XEV 9e have been crash tested by Bharat NCAP and both have received a record high 5-star rating for adult and child occupant protection. How has Mahindra's platform achieved such levels of crash safety? I went behind the scenes to bring you an explainer at the company's in-house crash safety lab. The InGlow platform from Mahindra, like all its other cars, had the same kind of targets to be really high on safety. We're talking about crash safety, we're talking about active and passive safety. Right now I'm going to run you through how the structure works, because we've seen that on cars like the XUV 700. That was, of course, a monocoque platform. This one is the skateboard platform. And so while you see that it has to protect the battery at the bottom of the overall structure, it also has to be crash worthy in terms of being able to have all these absorbing points, both from a side, front or rear impact point of view. So the thing that you want to know, 66% of this structure overall is made of high strength steel. There's different grades of high strength steel. So you've got the high strength, you've got the advanced high strength, and then you've got the ultra high strength. You can see that that makes up most of the body, and it's only in non-critical areas that you see the gray sections here, where you see some of these are just the regular or mild steel. But the rest of it, where it really matters, where it really counts, is either advanced or ultra high strength steel. Now that's important because we are here looking at a different kind of a structure than a regular vehicle, since these are battery operated vehicles. And so, like I said, they also have to create protection for the battery itself. It's not only about the crumple zones or only about where the airbags and things like that go. So you can see how all the energy is transferred in the case of a crash. That's what's depicted through these arrows. And so where that energy travels is what's really important in the case of a crash. And you can see even inside on the floor, if there is an impact from below, from the absolute underside of the car, again, the way that the energy has to travel is to go outside or towards the sides of the vehicle. That's important. Now, this all means that you have to have a whole lot of sensors in the car, which are very active. Now, most cars have about 4 sensors. In the luxury space, you typically see 8 or 10 sensors. What Mahindra has done as sort of standard with these cars on the InGlow platform is to actually go with 10 sensors. To me, that's pretty impressive because, well, you can see things like the airbags, they will deploy based on those sensors. So where are they? They are here in the front of the car, they are on the side of the car, and in this case, something that most other car makers don't do, there are also sensors in the underbody. Again, from the point of view of not just protecting the battery, but also looking at Indian road conditions. I mean, for us, we do know that we can have a lot of rough roads, we can have a lot of bumpy and broken roads as well. That's what this takes care of. There are sensors, of course, in the rear as well. And I'm not talking about the parking sensors. We're talking about sensors like these. This is a map that shows you, again, the InGlow platform. All the cars will have this, says the company. And so if you see, where the reds are flashing are where the sensors really are, and they send off a message to the ECU, which then deploys the airbags. The other nice thing that they've done this time around is that the front airbags aren't the only ones that deploy in the case of a crash. So whether it's a front or a side impact, those curtain airbags along with the front airbags are going to deploy. It's the same in the B6E, and it's also the same in the XEV models as well. It's 7 airbags that are going to be on the top end and 6 that are standard. The 7th, of course, is the knee airbag, and that's in there. If you can go in and take a look just under the steering wheel, you will see that extra knee airbag. So that makes it 7. But all of this is about getting it right in terms of planning and in terms of structure. How does that really translate to the actual crash performance? Well, the good news is here at MSPT, they have their own crash lab. This is prima facie I am not in any position to tell you a scientific analysis or the actual score, if that's what you're looking for, because that takes time, that needs some number crunching. And this is not being certified by an authority or a different agency. This is an in-house test that Mahindra has conducted. But the idea was to show us both the capability of this facility and also what the car has been designed to withstand. So, frontal offset test, 64 kilometers per hour. You can see how the structure has impacted into this barrier. Both look decimated, and that's the whole idea. Why is this special? Because it's a battery electric car, and so there's no engine up front here. There is no issue about what absorbs that energy up here when it comes to the engine compartment or the engine dropping down. So it really comes down to this space, as it does in most cars. But you have sensors that not only trigger the airbags, but you also have all those crumple zones and the energy absorbing parts of the vehicle that I was showing you in the structure earlier that seem to have done the job beautifully, because you can see that there's no evident deforming of that A-pillar or of the door, and inside the cabin as well there seems to be no real harm to that life space of the vehicle. It's really the front and this fender and some of the energy absorbing that happens down below on the floor pan that seem to have done the trick. Mahindra now has 4 models with 5 stars from Bharat NCAP. That is across ICE and electric vehicles. Everything car and everything bike. We got you. Here on Acco Drive, our expertise for your ease.